pride, vanity, and anger in a Masonic environment. Sin is a human attitude contrary to divine laws, and it was defined by the Catholic Church in the late 6th century during the papacy of Gregory the Great, who announced to the profane world the 7 deadly sins originating from human nature: greed, gluttony, wrath, lust, sloth, pride, and vanity. Later, in the 13th century, they were definitively incorporated and established by the theologian St. Thomas Aquinas. For practical reasons, in relation to the highlighted topic, we will only address the 3 deadly sins that permeate more prominently in our midst. In this sense, it is necessary to define each sin or at least identify its main characteristics. We use the term Masonic environment in quotes in the title of this article to highlight the existing antagonism between the posture that should be adopted in this context and the mentioned deadly sins or vices of conduct, which, unfortunately, we perceive. One of the 7 deadly sins that manifest in people in the form of pride and arrogance is pride, a term derived from Latin superbia. It is a negative feeling characterized by a pretension of superiority over others, leading to ostentatious displays of arrogance, sometimes without any basis in facts or real variables. Manifestations of pride can be shown individually or in groups. In group cases, chosen or elected ones believe themselves to be superior. The manipulation of pride, and the pretense of superiority of a group can mobilize social conflicts, where the emotions of an uncritical human mass serve the political, economic, and ideological interests of its leader. The proud person always seeks to surpass others, but when surpassed, they quickly become dominated by envy. When they feel threatened or attacked, they try to belittle others and boast, without making efforts to improve themselves or even evaluate their lives, reaching a point of contentment. Pride creates disharmony in society as a strategy to maintain pride and always be in the spotlight. A harmonious society, where all individuals live equally, free and fraternal, will not provide space for pride. Acting with humility is the way to combat pride in its various forms, avoiding ostentation, controlling vanities, and encouraging the proud person to look at the world not only from their perspective but also from the perspective of others. Pride, as one of the manifestations of pride, translates into the unconditional satisfaction of the proud person, or when their own values are overestimated, believing they are better or more important than others, displaying vanity and ostentation, which can eventually turn into arrogance. Arrogance is another manifestation of pride. It is the feeling that characterizes lack of humility. It is common to connotate a person who presents this feeling as someone who does not want to listen to others, learn something they do not know, or feel equal to their peers. Excessive pride and limitless vanity that turns into arrogance are shown in the struggle for economic power, social position, and perpetuation in power. When they occupy an elective or appointed position, they seek to impress the unaware, emphasizing despotism that treats subjects as slaves. Unlike dictatorship or tyranny, despotism does not depend on the ruler's ability to overpower the people, but on the people's inability to express themselves and self-govern, leaving power in the hands of only one person, out of fear and/or not knowing what to do. According to Montesquieu, in despotism, only one governs. It is as if there were no laws or rules, and everything is subject to the ruler's will and caprice. Human vanity, as one of the 7 deadly sins, manifests in people through excessive concern with physical appearance to gain admiration from others, pursuing a certain social status in society, or through holding certain positions. A vain person may also be greedy, seeking to obtain valuable things only to show off to others. An envious human being easily identifies a vain person, as both vices complement each other. One is the object of the other. In Montaigne's essays, there is a chapter about vanity. A Brazilian writer, Flavio Jacovate, has devoted himself to analyzing the influence of vanity in people's lives and its impact on society. One of the literary approaches to vanity is made by Oscar Wilde in the book The Picture of Dorian Gray, where the main theme is the vanity of the character Dorian, where the young man is both old and the old man is both young. Finally, let's address anger as a deadly sin. Anger is an attitude that people manifest through feelings of revenge, hatred, or rage against their peers, or sometimes even against objects. It is a negative emotion that annihilates the ability to think and solve the problems that caused it. Whenever we project anger at another human being, we undermine our own image, and this is never convenient in the world of interpersonal relationships. Anger combines with pride, presumption, and even self-sufficiency. Frustration, fear, doubt, and guilt originate the processes of anger. Human anger can easily become sinful. When we start defending our ego, attacking someone instead of addressing their mistake, when the flame of anger is fueled, it becomes a fire that destroys. After discussing some vices of human conduct or deadly sins, let's shift our focus to the Masonic environment and establish a homomorphism relationship to reflect on some practices we observe in our daily lives. The behavior of a Freemason, according to the dictates of our sublime order, should be irreproachable. No action that highlights pride, vanity, and anger should be adopted, especially when practiced by a brother who is a Masonic authority, holding an elective or appointed Masonic position. In the case of behavior or actions that compromise the image of our order and go against the universal tenets of Freemasonry, the author should be alerted by any brother who notices this deviation so that the person can correct their behavior or action. The alerted brother should receive the observation naturally, understanding that the brother who alerted him did so to promote improvement and growth. One should never react with anger. The excellence of Freemasonry rests on the support of brotherhood, not hatred. The brothers should have enough humility to understand the correction. They should not be proud or vain and should receive criticism constructively, especially since they occupy a Masonic position. There is no discredit for a Masonic authority when alerted by a hierarchically lower brother. The Masonic brother comes first, not the Masonic authority. The Mason has a duty to dig dungeons for vices in all their forms, including the vices of conduct mentioned here, as this will raise temples to virtues and, consequently, lead to new progress. Attitudes that clearly express these deadly sins, these futile and inconsequential feelings, which lead to discouragement for those Masons who can assert with confidence, "My brothers recognize me as such," must be banished from our midst. Constituted Masonic authorities must assert hierarchy, but not commit excesses. They must know, and know well, discipline. Discipline and hierarchy are pillars of Freemasonry, therefore, the true Mason must be a disciplined man who respects hierarchy. The disciplined Mason is instructed, not prone to pride, vanity, or anger. The Mason has no pride, they have honor. The Mason has no vanity, they have happiness. Please click on subscribe, like the video, click the bell icon, and share it with as many people as possible. You help this channel grow a lot. Thank you.